So I'm Anastasia Belyakova. I work at the British Chambers of Commerce on Brexit and trade. So, of course, we still don't know what's going to be negotiated, but the biggest changes we could foresee are to do with trade between the UK and the EU and what happens at the border. So the biggest questions for businesses are, will I have delays on trading with the EU? Will I have to provide new documentation? Will there be overall new administrative burdens? And one issue I'd like to highlight is VAT. That's something that's not been discussed by government to date, but if we do the same procedure with the EU as with the rest of the world, businesses would have to pay tax, they would have to pay VAT at the border. So that's a big cash flow issue, that's a significant consideration. So businesses should start thinking about having enough cash flow, should start thinking about having enough provisions for that. In the meantime, we wait for further answers from government and from the negotiations. Well, it's really a two-way thing because when I come to these events, I learn an awful lot because I get an understanding of what's important to local businesses. I understand some issues that perhaps haven't been raised significantly enough in Westminster, and I can take that back. But also, hopefully, I can provide a bit of a translation of all the drama that is happening and explaining what it means in practical terms for your business and how you can prepare for the changes ahead.
My name is Daniel Waller, and I'm the Head of School for Language and Global Studies at UCLan. So we're a school which comprises modern languages, international business communication, TESOL, teaching English speakers of other languages, and we have a big area in Asia Pacific studies. Well, personal experience, it took me a while, but I was a very lazy learner. I lived in Turkey for about 9 years. I think actually learning Turkish is quite straightforward. It's a completely phonetic language. So what you see on the paper is what you get. It's a Roman script, so you don't have to learn sort of different characters or things like that in it. It's a very, very regular language. So once you know how to shift a verb in one form or how to form a particular thing, then it kind of applies with all the vocabulary. I think first of all is the relationship side of things. In Turkey, relationship counts for an awful lot. They put a lot of weight on sort of getting to know you and getting familiar with you. So often you find when you go into sort of business situations, there's more kind of social chit-chat than perhaps you might have originally intended. The second thing is definitely that thing about learning a bit of Turkish. Even if you just have a few words, that sort of move towards them, you know, it gets really well rewarded. People really, really like that, and they welcome that you do that. And I think the third thing is to go in with your plan. You kind of need to know what it is you want to achieve and be prepared to be patient with it as well. Again, things can move really quite slowly at first, and then suddenly they take on a momentum all of their own. So it does take time. You need to have a clear plan. And you need to, again, like I mentioned at the start, you need to be committed to that relationship and the fact that it's going to be a long-term thing.
I'm Steve Hall from Mint Business Travel. We specialise in a managed business travel service for small to medium-sized businesses. So the advantages of booking through a travel services provider are that we have access to rates that normal companies don't have access to. So we get great rates. We're part of the largest buying consortium within the UK who provide rates for us. So we can almost guarantee that we'll get the best rates. So first and foremost, outsource your travel requirements, because a lot of companies spend an awful lot of time in actually searching for the right deals. So that's the first one really, is to save time and money. Talk to a professional travel services company. Second tip is really around looking after your employees when you actually travel. It's the duty of care responsibilities that you have for your travellers. A travel services provider can actually provide that for you. It's really difficult to provide it yourself. And the third tip would be really to do a lot of research about the areas that you're visiting. Even the UK nowadays is not safe when you travel. And that's natural disasters, it's also terrorist incidents, but also virus outbreaks as well. So those are the three.